All right, so this is the demonstration for your introduction to acrylic and you're going to paint a color wheel. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and label your full page, full sketchbook page, acrylic notes, and then write the date. And then during the presentation, either you're going to go through it on your own or you're going to be listening to it in class. Take notes about acrylic paint. So it's always good to keep in mind like writing definitions or brands or other techniques and tips. So this is really meant to be like a notebook that you could go back and reference. So that's the top. Let's use about the top half. Then the bottom half, you are going to use your palette. And we're going to make a color wheel and we're going to make a value scale. So over here, I put my palette down. So obviously you want to do this before you have any paint in it. And we are going to make a 12-step color wheel. 12-step color wheel. So if you don't have room on the page with your notes, go ahead and switch or flip to the next page. The other thing we are going to do is we are going to make a value scale, and we'll just do it over here on the side, just like we've been doing value scales with all the other media. So the idea is that we are going to make this 12-step color wheel by mixing only with the paints that we have. So we have a magenta, we have chrome yellow and phthalo blue, and then we're going to have black and white. But we actually don't need black and white to mix the colors on the color wheel right now. So the tricky part of this is to divide all of this down into 12 equal steps, and that just might not happen, and it's going to be okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to divide this in half up and down and then sideways. Again, you can just kind of rough it, make an estimate, like that's not halfway. I'm going to be okay. And then, so this gives me 4. I need to get 3 into each one of these quadrants. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of estimate over here on the side, dividing that into thirds. And I only need to do that on the top 2 because I'm going to just run a line across that way and that way. So then that does those 3 over there. And then, oh, this one's way off. Oh, this drives me nuts. But, oh, actually, maybe not. I should be okay. That way, and then that way. So the slices are not perfectly equal. It's going to be okay. The next thing we're going to do is, before we start painting, I want you to label all of the slices. So actually, in color wheel world properness, yellow is actually located at the top. So I don't have one directly in the middle, but I am going to start right there with yellow. And it is up to you which way you want to go. I am going to follow this color wheel, but you can certainly switch it. So if you're going to follow along with me, but if you flip it around, it's fine. So the next one I'm going to do over here is yellow, orange, and then orange, and then red, orange. And this is going to be a color wheel that you come back to again and again and again as you work with anything in color. So I would encourage you to make it neat, just so you can always have something to go back and reference. Oops, violet. Forgetting where my screen is. violet, blue, violet, blue, blue, green, green, and yellow, green. Now, something I want to make sure that you are aware of is that anytime that I have a hyphenated name of a color, so in this case it's yellow, green, these are tertiary colors or sometimes called intermediate. The primary color always comes first. So here's our primary color, here's our primary color, here's our primary color. Those ones are special because they mix together, make all of the other colors on the color wheel. Here is our secondary color, secondary, secondary, secondary. So if you have an intermediate, you're going to notice that the primary color goes first. So there we go, value scale. We're just going to do a 5-step value scale. So you don't have to use your ruler, but if you want to do the measurements, you can. I am going to extend mine a little bit farther. So I'm not going to put a mark at every inch because then I wouldn't have like equal spots. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm already doing it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2. Wow, maybe I should have just measured it, but there we go. So I'm going to have white, I'm going to have light, I'm going to have medium, I'm going to have medium dark, and I'm going to have dark. You can also, actually, I want you to number these 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our basic setup. The next stage here is to go get paint on your palette. And when you get paint, you are just going to need 5 colors of paint. So we're going to get white and black, and then we're going to get magenta, chrome yellow, and phthalo blue. So those are the ones that we have in class, and that's what we're going to use to mix this color wheel.